In the gate. And they're off. What a Dude is going out for the lead. Derecho Dandy is up close, as is National Genero, and they're joined 4 deep by Mobytown. So National Genero and Mobytown to the front. National Genero will be in second. What a Dude third. Derecho Dandy now fourth. Then it's Syntactic, followed by a 3-wide remote. At the back of the field, Mighty Kai, Hard Mission, and My Partner Glenn. Around the first turn, it's Mobytown in front 2 lengths. National Generos second by the same margin, and What a Dude races in third. They're followed by Derecho Dandy, remote orange cap outside of him. Tucked in is Syntactic on the fence, 8 lengths off the lead. Then My Partner Glenn inches up slightly outside Hard Mission and Mighty Kai. They're coming to the half-mile pole behind Mobytown. Mobytown ridden along, but does have a 3-length lead on National Genero, comfortable in second. Another 2, What a Dude in third, followed by Derecho Dandy outside Syntactic. Remote is just outside of that pair. Still at the back, Mighty Kai, Hard Mission, and My Partner Glenn. Coming toward the quarter pole, Mobytown's lead a length. National Genero asked to get after him now in second, cruising up pretty nicely. 2 lengths back, What a Dude in the race as well. Behind them, Syntactic there at the top of the stretch, and National Genero collars and puts away Mobytown. What a Dude chases. On the outside comes Syntactic at the rail from way back. Mighty Kai trying to split rivals to get the second spot, but National Genero long gone. National Genero, a sweet trip to victory. Mighty Kai full of energy second. Then What a Dude, Syntactic, and Mobytown. Warrior Lady guided back into the gate. We're set. And they're off. Warrior Lady quick. Half Nelson has speed. Glory of Chrome is down at the rail. Bossy Bruin Gal and Midnight Silence. Half Nelson from the outside post over to the inside and leads the way, rounding the clubhouse turn. With Bossy Bruin Gal now moving up to take second, and Warrior Lady is down at the rail. Midnight Silence in the pink has 3 to come, and Glory of Chrome at the back with 6 furlongs to travel. It's Half Nelson taking them onto the backstretch with a 2-length lead. Bossy Bruin Gal in pursuit second. And then it's Warrior Lady at the rail, Midnight Silence and Drayden Van Dyke fourth, 3 lengths off the pacemaker, and another half dozen to Glory of Chrome. They have a half-mile left to go, and it's Half Nelson in front. Bossy Bruin Gal a length and a half back, and Warrior Lady at the rail in third. Midnight Silence still fourth, but only 3 lengths off the lead, and another 7 to Glory of Chrome. 3 furlongs remain for Half Nelson, who's been the controlling speed. Bossy Bruin Gal hard-ridden at the rail. It's Warrior Lady. Midnight Silence inching up outside of that pair. Still a distance to Glory of Chrome. There's room for Warrior Lady at the rail, trying to get after Half Nelson. And Warrior Lady hugs the fence. The lead still belongs to Half Nelson, but it's a narrow edge as Warrior Lady engages. They pass the 8th pole together. Bossy Bruin Gal, Midnight Silence flat inside the furlong marker. And Warrior Lady and Half Nelson are coming for the wire together. Warrior Lady just in front. Half Nelson trying to resurge. It's going to be close, but it belongs to Warrior Lady. Certainly much the best after those gate antics. Half Nelson was second. Bossy Bruin Gal and Glory of Chrome. This time is at 2 p.m. A reminder that the third race is the in the gate, and they're off. Clean start. Very fast beginning for Grazin' in the Sun, who will head straight to the lead. And right alongside is Proof She Zips. So these two have sped 3 clear of I'll Have Another Kiss third. Headed for home fourth. Satoshi is down on the inside. Hey Demps has 6 lengths to make up. It's a gap of 4 to the 2 trailers, True Patriot and Sweet Layla Ray at the back of the field. It's Grazing in the Sun and Proof She Zips heads apart. I'll Have Another Kiss, two behind in third. Then it's Satoshi racing a joint fourth on the inside of Headed for Ohm. Two more lengths to the gray. Hey Demps trying to pick up some momentum. True Patriot second to last. And Sweet Layla Ray continues to trail. The battle continues up top. Grazing in the Sun. Hey Demps making a bold move on the outside. I'll Have Another Kiss. One from the outside. Satoshi is looking for racing room behind these leaders. They're a furlong from the finish. Hey Demps in the center. In between, I'll Have Another Kiss. And now Headed for Ohm, finding her best stride. Satoshi weaving through traffic. A 16th to go, and Grazing in the Sun just keeps on digging in. Grazing in the Sun. I'll Have Another Kiss. Grazing in the Sun would not be denied, turning away all challengers. I'll Have Another Kiss, Headed for Ohm, True Patriot, and Hey Demps. And they're off. L Squared is quick from the gate. Dance Man along the inside has some early foot too, as does Capital Outlay. So it's Dance Man who comes through and rests a narrow lead. Antonsen between, Capital Outlay outside of them, and the Big Cheezola is 4 wide. L Squared is now fifth, 5 off the lead, and 6 or 7 back to Trotsky. Dance Man takes him toward the 3/8 pole, leading by a head, pressed by Antonsen, the favorite. Those two on even terms now. 2 more lengths. Capital Outlay asks for a bit more. The Big Cheezola inches up to take third. Big gap to L Squared, 4 back to Trotsky. A quarter of a mile to go, and Antonsen has taken the lead from Dance Man. The Big Cheezola third, and then Capital Outlay. They have 3/16 of a mile to go, and it's Antonsen, Dance Man fighting back gamely along the rail. 4 more to the Big Cheezola in third. Antonsen all out. The Big Cheezola is starting to close, and Dance Man at the rail. Antonsen very weary, and here comes the Big Cheezola. And the Big Cheezola will get there to score by almost a length. Antonsen second. Trotsky came flying late for third, then Dance Man. They're in the gate, and they're off in the John Shear. Charge for Gold is sent hard out of the gate, practically broke. These two speed, 3 clear of Hard-Headed in third. King of Gosford in the orange colors moves through to take fourth. Then comes Raging Torrent, and Miracle Mark is 6 lengths off the lead. Charge for Gold takes him down the hill and leads it by a length and a half. King of Gosford in second, followed by Practically Broke in third. They're followed by Raging Torrent. Hard-Headed is fifth at this point, 5 lengths off the lead, and another 2 back to Miracle Mark. They're heading toward the quarter pole, and King of Gosford making steady headway on front-running Charge for Gold. These two arrive at the quarter pole together. Behind them, Practically Broke is in third. Hard-Headed in the green silks trying to mount a bid as King of Gosford takes the lead. And here comes Miracle Mark. Miracle Mark on the far outside is storming home. It's wide open, even Raging Torrent from last. A 16th to go. King of Gosford trying to fend them all off, and he's still running strongly. Raging Torrent with a late bid. Here is the line. King of Gosford in another good-looking effort defeats Raging Torrent. Then it was Miracle Mark and a battle between Charge for Gold and Hard-Headed. We're in the gate. And they're off. Belle Epoque is out quickly. Will Do It Live matches strides and takes the lead. Kathira comes away in third. Satellite Heart did not have a good beginning, fourth, and now trying to move into the race. And Dory Miller is at the back. It's Bella Pook and Will Do It Live, stride for stride to the half-mile pole. Satellite Heart inches up outside of that pair. Kathira is down on the rail, and Dory Miller, 2.5 lengths front to back. It's Bella Pook to the 3/8 pole by a neck. Will Do It Live second. Satellite Heart just a length off the lead in third. Then Kathira and Dory Miller. They're coming to the quarter pole. Bella Pook, Will Do It Live, Satellite Heart on the outside. Three of them line up. Kathira just behind them, and Dory Miller on the far outside, top of the stretch. Bella Pook trying to cling to a very narrow lead. Will Do It Live and Satellite Heart fighting on the outside of them. They're inside the 8th pole. Satellite Heart, Will Do It Live, go on. Will Do It Live and Satellite Heart, Will Do It Live, or Satellite Heart, Satellite Heart, Will Do It Live, Satellite Heart proves best. Will Do It Live second, 3-way photo. Dory Miller, Bella Pook, and Kathira. Behind them, and Dory Miller on the far outside. Beyond right up there. We're in the gate. And they're off. Annie Fox is out very quickly. Bits Tiger Magic has sharp speed. Lady P is in between them. And now here's Castagna joining the party along the rail. Epion in the yellow colors is 3 lengths off Bits Tiger Magic, whose speed's clear. In behind them comes Breezy Blue. Club Teaser is next, down on the inside, 7 lengths off the tempo on the front end. The lead belongs to Bits Tiger Magic into the far turn. It's now a 3.5 length advantage. Epion takes up the chase in second. Castagna's in third. Jane Kende moves right into fourth, followed by Breezy Blue. Lady P is losing ground steadily. Our Marilyn Lonroe is racing on the inside. Have patience, 4 deep around the far turn. Down at the rail, Annie Fox. The trailer is Pipa Felipa, and the leader, Bits Tiger Magic, pouring it on. Jane Kende starts to pick up momentum, just bobbled very awkwardly in mid-stretch, but it's all Bits Tiger Magic, lights out. She has devastated the competition here. Bits Tiger Magic by 8 lengths. Second went to Breezy Blue. Jane Kende was next. Epion in a battle with 2 closers, Annie Fox and Pipa Felipa, who really was rocketing late. And they're off. Afternoon heat, Patron Doro at the rails. Saikon comes through, and it's Saikon up to take the lead. Lansdowne is up and on the battle, too, so those two head and head. And the heavy favorite, Patron Doro, sits a length and a half off them in the clear, while third. Established is fourth at this point, followed by El Diablo Rojo, Heart Full of Stars, and Afternoon Heat now at the back. 3.5 furlongs to go, and it's Lansdowne, the leader, a half a length. Saikon second. Then Established. Patron Doro is 4 wide around the far turn. El Diablo Rojo with the red cap inside, Heart Full of Stars, 4 clear of Afternoon Heat. Coming toward the quarter pole, and it's Lansdowne, Patron Doro, Heart Full of Stars, circling up while extremely wide. Established, and El Diablo Rojo. They turn for home. Lansdowne holding the lead. Patron Doro is all out, and Patron Doro is a length and a half back with 1/8 of a mile to go. Lansdowne holding firm by 2. Patron Doro still in second, followed by Established third. It's Lansdowne. Lansdowne pulling off the mild upset to score by 2 over Patron Doro, Established, and Heart Full of Stars in front of Afternoon Heat. In the gate. And they're off in the Angels' flight. Alluring bounces out very quickly, and so does Girl of My Dreams on the outside. Girl of My Dreams has the lead. Alluring coming after her in second. They're followed by Invincible Molly, right next to Lone, who's in the powder blue colors. Behind them, Zona Verde, 7 lengths off the lead. She is Romantic second to last, and Antifona as they string out down the hill. And Girl of My Dreams has a 4-length lead. Alluring is a clear-cut second. Lone and Invincible Molly right together. 3 lengths back to Zona Verde. Comfortable and yet to be asked. Another length and a half to Antifona, and she is Romantic. They're starting to close in on Girl of My Dreams. Girl of My Dreams, 2-length lead. Lone on the outside. Alluring, far outside. Zona Verde went wide. Invincible Molly in the orange colors. They're in the final furlong. Alluring right up to Girl of My Dreams. Behind them, Lone is starting to kick into high gear. Here comes Lone after Alluring late. Alluring, Lone on the outside. Lone or Alluring, Alluring or Lone. Here's the line. Photo finish. Lone and Alluring hit the wire together. In behind them, Girl of My Dreams and Antifona was picking up some minor pieces late. It's official. They're in the gate. And they're off. Famous Star flies out of the gate, opens up a length and a half in the first few jumps. DDS Express Extreme outside. Thales in between them. Motorcade, hard-ridden, one from the fence, comes right after the gray Famous Star. And those two have now sped 2 lengths clear of Thales. American Cat is in the vanguard too, as is Mr. Beams down at the rail. DDS Express in the orange, now 4 off the leaders. Then John Dunbar. It's a gap of at least 6. Back to Running Tiger, followed by Tahoe Secrets and Dutch Bus. They have a 1/4 mile to go, and it's Motorcade a narrow advantage. Mr. Beams coming 3 wide. Famous Star fights on down at the rail. DDS Express about 6 wide on the outside of Thales. They're coming to the 8th pole, and it's Motorcade in front by a length, but there's a wall of horses coming after. Thales is starting to close some nice ground in the center. DDS Express, and down on the inside, here's John Dunbar. John Dunbar scraping the rail in the final stages and wins it. Another for Tyler Bays. Motorcade was second. American Cat third. And then behind them, among those battling for the minor awards, were Dutch Bus and DDS Express. Hey. We're in the gate. And they're off to a smooth start. British Isles, here's Nagano taking control at once, sprinting away. On the far outside, Fast Chaz has guided over to get second. Now British Isles will be third through the opening furlongs, and then it's Shot of Courage racing a joint fourth as they move into the first turn. Uncharted is racing one from the outside. Then it's Le Mans, who's down on the inside of rivals. The Old Nine racing in between horses. Niti has 7 to make up. Siennois is 2 in front of Triple Pass, and the early trailer is American Glory. They straighten up for the run down the backstretch, and it's the favorite Nagano setting the pace. Cruising along up top. Has a 2-length advantage over Fast Chaz in second. Then Uncharted and British Isles right together with a half-mile left to go. Shot of Courage is racing 3 deep. The Old Nine is just inside of that rival. Then it's Le Mans and Niti with 7 to make up. Down at the rail comes Siennois. American Glory is out of last, leaving Triple Pass as the trailer. Coming to the 1/4 pole, Nagano untroubled throughout. chased by Fast Chaz in second. They've pulled 4 clear of British Isles. Top of the stretch, and Nagano has to finish the job. 2-length lead on Fast Chaz. Now it's 3. British Isles finishing with some energy along the rail. They come to the 16th pole, and it's Nagano clear by 3 to British Isles. Nagano, British Isles trying hard, running out of time. Nagano makes every pole a winning one. Reese Pulley wins the first and last. British Isles finished up very nicely in second. Then it was Fast Chaz, and the battle for the rest included an oncoming Siennois.
Hi, everybody, and hope you had a great week. Do you know we have 29 races in store for you over the next 3 days? 9 races today and 10 Saturday and Sunday. First post all 3 days will be 1 o'clock Pacific time. And a lot of times people want to come on my seminar and they tell me all about themselves. But you know what I'm more interested in? I want people to tell me that they love horse racing without telling me that they love horse racing. And our seminar guest today has done exactly that. You want to know why? He's an enthusiastic owner and breeder. He's an enthusiastic horse player who's been playing the horses for well over 4 decades. And he also used to own the 100-to-1 karaoke club right across the street. What a time and what a place that was. We're going to walk down history in just one moment. But before we do, let's introduce my very special seminar guest for today. His name, Bryan Carney. Bryan, happy Friday. Welcome to the seminar.
Hey, it's really nice to be back. It's been a while.
It has been a while, and I should have had you back much sooner because you did an exceptional, stellar job. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's talk about the 100-to-1 club.
It's 9 years since it's been closed.
Unbelievable.
It doesn't seem possible.
Seems like 9 minutes, much less 9 years.
And not a day doesn't go by that people come up to me and say, boy, we sure missed 100-to-1.
Well, a lot of people had a lot of fun, Bryan. And for those of you who might not be old enough, let's show an old school photo of the front entrance of the 100-to-1 club. This was the location right outside the clubhouse parking lot, gate number 5 on Huntington Drive. If you drove into the racetrack, Bryan, it'd be impossible for patrons not to see your place.
It totally impossible. And, you know, I have to give accolades to Santa Anita for taking that sign and creating the 100-to-1. So as long as Santa Anita's here, the 100-to-1 is still going to be in everybody's memory at Santa Anita, at the great race place.
Well, it's a great partnership because, as I mentioned, you love horse racing. Of course, Santa Anita, a very iconic place. And it's funny, Bryan, that you would mention that sign that was above the front entrance. Let's kind of fast forward to today. And right here at Santa Anita on the 3rd floor of the clubhouse turn resides the very popular 100-to-1 club. That's the actual restored sign from your facility that now sits on the third floor of the clubhouse here at Santa Anita.
It's amazing. You know, a couple months back, we had a fundraiser for Fiona Ma. She's running for lieutenant governor. She'll be a great lieutenant governor, by the way.
She's going to win?
She'll win.
Okay.
Yes, she will. Okay.
Thanks to your efforts.
Well, but you know what? Nate and the crew, they hosted us. They had more fun. She's posted it everywhere.
In the 100 to 1
In the
club.
100 to 1 club. Everybody got their pictures taken with the sign. And it was, you know what? It's a place we should showcase a lot.
Well, your place was certainly showcased a lot. The actual 100 to 1 karaoke club. I've been in there many times in yesteryear. Jockeys, trainers, exercise riders, people from overseas who were here for the Breeders' Cup. It was a honky-tonk type of place that was rolling.
Believe me, you know, Frankie Dettori used to come in. The most famous bloodstock agent in the world, Demi O'Byrne, used to come in.
Unbelievable.
Okay, I have pictures of me with Demi O'Byrne. That's a pretty amazing thing. I mean, that guy, he's a legend in bloodstock. And but we had them all. I mean, but the best part about the 100 to 1 is it didn't matter whether you were rich or poor. Everybody that went there was a horse enthusiast.
And you treated them great, Bryan, because I know a lot of people were down on their luck that would show up there. You'd buy them dinner, you'd bring food, and you'd have Super Bowl parties. I mean, you were, not only was it a staple of the racetrack community, it was a staple of Arcadia, California.
Yeah, well, part of it is taking care of people. You know, I remember one of the people that worked with me when it was the first New Year's Eve, and they said, well, how much are we going to charge admission? I said, oh, nothing. What are you talking about? We're going to screw over the people that keep us in business all year just so we can get a few extra bucks. I said, I don't need the money in order to do that. Not only would I not charge them to come in, we'd put a spread of food out that it was a great party. And we'd do that, you know, during various times of the year. We used to do In-N-Out burgers on Wednesday, and we used to give away pizza on Friday.
And the city of Arcadia 9 years ago made you an offer you couldn't refuse. Of course, now the Le Meridian Hotel sits on that property, unfortunately, because of those of us who had such great memories at the 100 to 1. But let's face it, you hit a home run when the city of Arcadia came along.
Yeah, I was very lucky. I had hit a pick six, and I was able to buy that and the property.
What year was that when you bought it, Bryan, if you remember?
I believe it was 91.
Okay.
And so I had a 20-year run. Okay. And it was believe me, my wife only went there 4 times in 20 years. So she wasn't real happy, but it was a funny story because when I bought it, I had the gentleman who owned Peppers, Kelly, and her and her friend. And I bought the place literally like a little trick. Is? Oh, not only as is. I said, hey, I understand you own the 100 to 1. I said, yeah, I'd like to buy it. I said, but I need to buy the property. And the fellow says, well, I have a partner. We own the property, and we're going to get ready. We're going to get an SBA loan. But I said, well, heck, if you'd be willing to sell, well, whatever the appraisal is, I'll give you that. I says, well, people always. I said, I'll tell you what. Here's what we do. How about you have an escrow company in Arcadia you do business? Let's do a non-refundable $20,000 deposit. Okay, I give you $20,000 right now. We go set up the account, and he's like looking at me like I'm half nuts. He says, well, what else would you need? I said, you don't want to look at the books? I said, why would I want to look at those? They mean nothing. Okay, and he said, and I said, and if I don't close, you keep my $20,000.
You knew it was a winner before you even bought it, and certainly it's our pleasure to have Bryan Carney today as our seminar guest. You're going to find out he's a winner not only in business but also in playing and owning the horses. We're going to find out who Bryan likes. He's a big Ragas and Sheets player. We're going to find out who he likes on today's 9-race card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the changes on today's Friday's card here at the Great Race Place.
Hooray for Hollywood. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. This is day 1 of the Hollywood meet at Santa Anita Park. The track is fast. The turf course is firm. The rail on the turf out 30 feet. Here are the changes. In the first, no super high 5 wagering with the scratch of number 7, Maxville. Note that number 4, Special Club, carries 1 pound over. Race 2, number 2, Warren's Wild Ride, 1 pound over. In the third, number 1, Naismith, will be ridden by jockey Mike Smith. 5, Dedois, and 6, Outgunned, each carry 1 pound over. Fourth race begins the $1 pick 6. There is no high 5 wagering offered. Number 1, Raising Silver, 1 pound over. Scratch 6, Dancing Flyer. And scratch number 8, Moonlight Tryst. 6 and 8 are scratched. Santa Anita Park's oddsmaker, John White, has issued a revised morning line for the 4th, with the morning line favorite being number 4, Flash That Smile. In the 5th, start of the late pick 5, scratch number 2, Indian Peak. High 5 wagering offered. Turning to race 6, no high 5, scratch 7, Nauvoo, and with that scratch, a revised morning line has been posted. Race 7 is clear of changes, no scratches or jockey changes. In the 8th, number 4, Audible Silence, has an ownership correction. That's it. We have the 1 blinker note. And in the 9th race, scratches or jockey changes. No changes whatsoever in race 9. Enjoy your day as we kick off the Hollywood Meet here at Santa Anita Park. They'll be at the gate for race 1 in 58 minutes. Free admission Fridays. We have $3 beers, $5 margaritas. That goes on throughout the meet. Free admission Fridays here at Santa Anita Park. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's special guest today is Bryan Carney.
Welcome back. We're talking horse with Bryan Carney. Bryan Carney, he's the former proprietor of the 100 to 1 Club, the popular karaoke club right across the street from Santa Anita, which is now the Le Meridian Hotel. The 100 to 1 Club still resides, though, here on the 3rd floor of the clubhouse, which is a very popular spot for group events. Bryan's also a very dedicated horse player. He reads the ragas and sheets on a daily basis. He's also an owner or breeder of many successful racehorses. Bryan, before we take a look at today's 9-race card, a question for you. Why ragas and sheets? Where did it all start? Why do you rely on them so heavily?
I started reading Ragasons 40 years ago. I was a little
in New Jersey.
Well, no, when I first came to California in '79.
Okay.
Okay, so it's actually somewhere around there. But I've been using them when I used to go to Hollywood Park. There was a fella called John the Wise, and everybody
has a nickname at the racetrack.
And John the Wise he looked like he didn't have 5 cents, but he was a really good gambler, and nobody knew it. So for whatever reason, you know me, I like to talk to people, find out about people. I don't care how they're dressed, how they look. If you like horses, I'm going to talk to you. So he started to explain to me these crazy numbers, and I was like, wow, these are easy to read, and you can really get a lot of information from them. And, I've qualified for the NHC 9 times, and I have never used a racing form, a workout sheet, nothing, okay, in order to qualify those 9 times. I even came in 50th the one year and made the final day. So with this is what I bring to the races.
Download the sheets.
I download the sheets. I go through the races.
How long does it take you to go through a card? If you're somewhat serious.
Half hour.
Wow.
But your mind already has imprinted all the good sheets, and believe me, as soon as you see a sheet you like, it's like, okay, I don't even need to look at the rest of them. But you go through the rest of them just to be sure, and you never change your mind.
There's a lot of information, Bryan, on the sheets, and like you mentioned, it's hieroglyphics. But if you could kind of boil it down, what is kind of a good sheet? I know it might depend upon either a long turf race or short sprint race, but what is a good sheet?
Okay. There are certain things that happen that you really should look for. First time equipment change Horse makes a gigantic improvement.
Blinkers on,
Blinkers
off.
on, blinkers off.
Okay.
They will not bounce their next start. I don't care how much they move forward. Okay. 95% of the time, they will duplicate or run better.
But you do believe in the bounce factor in other scenarios.
Yeah. When they're 5 years old, I don't believe it in 3. When they're 3 years old, I don't believe in it.
Okay.
As my one friend told me, John the Wise, when a 3-year-old goes right, they need to go to the farm. Okay. Because he says something's wrong. So
good sheet is an equipment change where a horse makes a move forward.
And that's a really big secret, in my opinion. Nobody pays attention to it because I've been around guys who read sheets and say, well, that horse is going to bounce. I'm going, no, they did an equipment change. They don't bounce after when it's because of an equipment change. Obviously, pairing numbers. There's some pretty basic rules, but if a horse runs a new top when they're 5, not 4, because horses are still progressing
mentally and physically
up through their 4-year-old year. When they get to 5, if they run a new top, which is 2 points higher than they've ever run, you can almost assure yourself they're going to bounce.
And the betting public will bet them like they're not going to bounce.
Yes, and that's how you really get great overlays. And we call them hidden races. And I'm always looking for the hidden race, and it works pretty well, actually.
We're going to put the practice into use today, hopefully with Bryan's expertise. Bryan, let's take a look at today's 9-race card. Kicking things off in race number 1, we're going 1 mile on the turf course for maiden special weight Calabreds. The turf rails today are at 30 feet. Also, race 1 begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. In race number 1, we've got a field of 6 after the scratch of number 7. The current betting choice at 6 to 5 is number 2, Rhino, who is a second-time starter off a long layoff. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Bryan, 3 of these 6 runners exit the same race. It was a race back on March 22nd, and I wanted you to pay attention. I know you already have your selection, but for those of you watching the seminar, I want you to pay attention to 2 runners. First of all, number 2, Rhino, in this particular field, will take the runners in the replay we're about to watch almost gate to wire. It was an excellent effort off a long layoff, as I mentioned. Make sure you pay attention to him. And also number 3, Defensor Fortis, breaks from the outside post, pushes the pace, and then kind of fades. He's an 0 for 10 maiden, but it wasn't a bad effort. First time going 2 turns on the turf in quite some time. So let's watch the replay back on March 22nd and listen to Frank Miramati describe the action.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Rhino out alertly. Hot Legs Romulo. Defensor Fortis sprints up to make it 3 of them right across the course. Bert's Prospect settles nicely in 4th. The Gingerman Ran is in 5th. Then it's Maxville about 8 lengths off the pace. Run Bryce Run is second to last, and Topper's Wager at the back of the field. Rhino is the leader rounding the clubhouse turn. Has it by 2 lengths. Hot Legs Romulo is in second. Defensor Fortis on the outside, and Bert's Prospect under a tight hold down at the rail. The Gingerbread Man is 5th, 7 lengths off the lead. Run Bryce Run is next, racing on the outside of Maxville, and Topper's Wager the distant trailer. It's Rhino heading toward the half-mile pole, leading the way a length to Hot Legs Romulo. Defensor Fortis is just outside of them, and at the rail, Bert's Prospect is comfortable. He's 4th, but only 3 lengths off the lead. Run Bryce Run is next. Maxville, the Gingerbread Man, and absolutely nothing from Topper's Wager. Rhino, Hot Legs Romulo ahead, back second. Defensor Fortis 3 deep throughout. Bert's Prospect still has run at the rail. He's 4th and 3 lengths off the lead, starting to cruise up to the top runners. In behind them, Run Bryce Run. Maxville has 7 lengths to make up, and then the Gingerbread Man, they're at the top of the stretch. It's Rhino. Bert's Prospect needs somewhere to go. He's trying to come through along the inside as Hot Legs Romulo is up to take the lead inside the 8th pole. Defensor Fortis, Run Bryce Run. They're coming to the 16th pole. Hot Legs Romulo is just in front. Hot Legs Romulo with a perfect trip to victory. Rhino was second. Bert's Prospect finished 3rd.
Bryan, as I mentioned, 3 of the 6 runners in today's first race exit that replay that we just watched. This is a main race, which is not necessarily your forte, but after watching that replay and looking at the sheets, you're actually going in a different direction and using a runner coming out of a different race.
Yeah, I'm going with the 4 Special Club. He ran a superior number when he sprinted, and the clubhouse rides do like grass. Indian Charlie Mare, if he duplicates his first sprint number, he'll win by quite a bit, actually.
He's currently 2-1 on the board. Let me ask you a question, Bryan, and it relates to weight. These are maidens 3, 4, and 5 years old, and the 3-year-olds carry 118. The 4-year-olds carry 126. That's an 8-pound difference. Special Club is a 3-year-old. Does weight factor into either the execution of the sheet numbers or maybe your handicapping philosophy?
It's your philosophy that counts. Generally, I give for 8 pounds. I would lower the number a 1.5,
which would be in the benefit of Special Club even more.
More so. Oh, absolutely.
And then we also see like Defensor Fortis a little bit, who broke from the outside post, wearing the pink silks in that replay. What do you like about his chances, maybe to round out the exacta?
He's gonna. I believe he's going to move forward off of those. He had a pair of 17s. They almost touch each other. Pete's giving him a little bit of time, and I actually believe that he's going to move forward again because he has a little T in the race prior. So normally you have to do manual adjustments. Ragusan does not adjust the number based upon trouble. So you have to do it mentally yourself. When I see a big T, I lower the number 3 points.
Bryan, second selection, number 3, Defensor 40, as you can see on the tote board right now, 20-1 on the board. Small field, big price, that's for sure. In with a chance, according to Bryan in his interpretation of the Ragusan sheet. Let's turn the page, Bryan. Take a look at race number 2, begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the main track. This race is for fillies and mares, $16,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. We've got a field of 7, the morning line favorite, number 5, Whimsical Air from the Mark Glatt barn, 5-2 on the morning line. 1 for maiden, 50 last time out. Now you can buy her for 16,000. What say you about race 2?
Well, the Whimsical Hair it is so much better than these. She should have no problem winning this race.
She took blinkers off last time and ran a really good number.
Yeah, ran a 15. She had been running in the 20s. So when you see that big move, it was an equipment change. Again, the philosophy that I use. I think she's a mortal cinch, and I'm going to use the 4 with her, Macho Queen.
What is it about Macho Queen you like, Bryan?
Let's see. Let me go real fast. I just like the pattern that she has. Hold on.
And just like as you're looking, Bryan, just like the buyer speed figures, the Ragusan sheet numbers are transferable from track to track because she ships back into Southern California from Sunland Park.
Yeah, she ran an 18 minus. Believe me, 18 minus makes her really, really competitive in here. And I don't look. It's funny you say that. A lot of people say they adjust numbers for different tracks. Whatever the number is, I don't care where they get it. They get it at Losail, wherever they get it, I use that number. So
let's talk about wagering for a minute. You've come with 2 strong, pretty opinions in the first couple races. Knowing what you've already told us, how would you kind of attack the card from a wagering standpoint? Would you play daily doubles? Would you play straight win bets? Would you be aggressive in the early pick 5? Like just in your mind with 47 minutes to post, how would you maybe attack these first two races?
But I prefer betting this way instead of this way. I sometimes will bet a double, but very rarely. I like betting trifectas, okay, and superfectas. Find a key horse, use them in the first and second slot, play them over 3 horses. So it's 1 by 3 by 3, and then I reverse it the other way around if the odds are adequate, because if you run second, you'll still get paid. If the horse is 4 to 5 or like we had with these shorter fields, I've had to adjust over the last couple of years with the shorter fields that instead of playing it first and second, I play a bigger number with the key horse on top and then a smaller backup number just in case I miss, and I get my money back.
And you like playing within the race. You like playing vertically, primarily because it's just one race you have to be right in. In other words, when you play multi-race exotics, you have to be right in all those different races with all the different variables that come with it.
Yeah, and you never get to see them until the race. How many times you're alive in a pick 3 or pick 4, I hear a guy say, "Oh my God, I can't believe I got the 5 horse in here." Okay, well, you
looks
know what?
bad on the track.
It looks bad. I mean, I always liken it to playing poker. Who goes all in after the first 2 cards? In a horizontal race, you got to go all in on the first bet.
Correct.
I don't like that.
Sure.
I'd rather do it this way.
And you've proven to be successful, that's for sure, Bryan. Race number 3, we're back on the turf course. 6 furlongs is the distance, $25,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. Make the jockey on number 1, Naismith from the Bob Hess barn. Mike Smith got a field of 6. And by the way, Naismith, coming off the long layoff, is the 8-5 morning line favorite, according to John White. What's race 3, according to Bryan Carney?
I actually like Quagmire Magic, the 3, a lot, actually. And I'm using the 1, but now that I didn't realize that DeSormo's not riding, so I even marked the 1 down even lower, okay, or slower, I should say. And my long shot, the Giants Candy, I think, is going to run a very big race today. You know, they've kept this horse in training for a couple of years. It's Mr. McAnally, and it's his wife's trust. And they wouldn't keep training this horse if they didn't have some sort of confidence that this horse was doing well.
What is it about Quagmire Magic, if you can recall, Bryan, off the sheets that you like? Was it anything in particular that you can recall?
Oh, his last race number was actually very good. And pretty close to the 1 and the 3. So he doesn't have to go forward very much off of that last race.
Race number 4 begins the $1 pick 6. We're sprinting 5.5 furlongs in the main track for maiden special weight Calbred, fillies and mares. 2 scratches in race 4. Scratch the 6 and 8 leaves us with a field of 6. Revised morning line favorite is number 4. Flash That Smile, 2-1 on the morning line. All right, Bryan. Now this is a race that I know you absolutely have a line through your program before you even walked in the front gates, because as a principal, you don't like playing main races much at all. But with first-time starters like we've got in this field, you're just willing to turn the page and say, give me the next race.
Yeah, I have to give you a pick. So what I'm going to do is the 7 ran a 17, okay?
Now he's an 0 for 15, or she's an 0 for 15 maiden. You know what players are going to say.
I got you. But I can tell you, very few straight maiden Calbreds run 17 minus their first time. If she duplicates her last race, she'll be first or second, I believe.
Very interesting. And she's 8-1 on the morning line.
So good price.
You do though, Bryan. Whether it's part of your ownership philosophy or part of your handicapping philosophy, you always like to do the opposite of whatever the general public or the crowd would normally do. You've run maidens against winners before. We've seen all the commentary in the newspapers that you and I have joked about.
They joke with me a lot, and then I say, I do have 4 maidens that are stakes placed. Okay, so most
guys know what you're doing.
Yeah, some people won't run a maiden in a stake race, but Val Brinkerhoff, I applaud you for running a maiden.
And look what happened back in New York.
And now you're going to get to run in the best filly race in America.
Unbelievable. And he had a lot of confidence in her filly. Yes. He bounced around the country, ran in the Breeders' Cup, as you mentioned, and finally he got vindicated with that win in New York a couple of weeks ago, and it was great to see.
I always say this is truly a game where you better not worry about what people think about you, because you will not be successful if you let other people decide how you should do things.
Amen. Race number 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. It also begins the $3 all-turf pick 3. And we kick things off sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the flat turf course for $40,000 claimers. We've got a field of 6 after the scratch of number 2, morning line favorite, the hard-knocking number 3, Exaltation from the Peter Urton barn, 8-5 on the morning line. Talk to us about race 5, Bryan.
Well, this is the senior citizen race of the day. You got the 9-year-old Exaltation and the 8-year-old Jetovator.
Both from the Urton barn.
Both Urtons. They both run against each other each time, and Exaltation beats them every time, unfortunately. But so I'm keying the 3, and I'm going to use the 6 underneath.
What about, other runners in the field, Bryan? Like as an example, maybe if you want to reference your sheets or if you remember, what about some crazy long shot like number 4, My Numero Uno, who actually had some success over in Australia and now runs at a lower level claiming tag for the first time. 12-1 on the board. I'm not saying the horse is going to win, but off those first 2 efforts here in the United States, there's not much showing, at least in the racing form. Is there anything you can hang your hat onto with him?
No, he'd have to really make a giant improvement. I mean, 3 and 6, those are real professional, older campaigners. I mean, they run 9s. Okay, these other horses. The one horse I do give a look at that I can pop up if you are playing this way. Hot Box is very, very live. Corner's having a very good meet. And his horses always look spectacular when you see him in the flesh.
Bryan, a question for you, because you had such a strong opinion in the race we were just discussing. How often does a horse run a number on the sheets that totally surprises you? In other words, does it happen once a day, once a week, once a month? You look at a lot of different, racing around the country, but are there efforts where you kind of scratch your head and say, where did that effort come from? Or most of the times, does it kind of make sense?
You can always find out why. Almost always.
Give me one example. In other words, do you overlook something?
What happens is with Ragusons, you can look at, say, a 4-year background, okay? And, a horse that has been off, say, a year, comes back, runs a good number, but not a real good number. Then his next start, he moves quite a bit forward. And then you look back when he was a 3-year-old and he ran 9s and 10s, he can run that again. Just because they've been off 2 years doesn't mean they can get back to it. As you know, Lee Brosio is a really good friend of mine.
Yes, the trainer.
Yes, and he looks for old class horses.
He's got one in the last race today.
Yes, he does.
First off the claim from Golden Gate. We'll get to that a little bit later,
yes,
but that's his MO when it comes to claiming horses.
And I'm with him 100% because I have used that philosophy for years, okay? Because once they they break through a number, they can go back to those numbers. And that's how you make some really good claims, because people think, oh, that horse is all done. No, they're not necessarily all done. John Henry ran his best Ragusan numbers the last year of his racing career when he was 9 years old. So oldness doesn't mean they can't run.
Oldness doesn't mean slowness. That's for sure, right?
Boy, that's for dang sure.
Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're going 1 mile the main track for $20,000 claimers. Scratch the original morning line favorite, number 7, Nauvoo, leaves us with a field of 6. Number 5, Big Buzz, one of a few closers in this particular field from the Steve Knapp barn, is now the revised 8-5 morning line favorite. Some senior citizens in here as well, Bryan. Talk to us about race 6.
Well, I narrowed it down. I'm not really big on this race per se, so I'm going to go with the 4, which I actually think Paula Capestro does a very good job with her horses. And this horse, going back a couple of years, actually is a very good going distance horse. So although it doesn't appear that he's a distance horse, he has numbers to go back to that were equal to his sprint numbers. If he goes back to his distance number, like his last sprint number, he's going to be pretty formidable, I believe.
And he's 8-1 on the morning line in race number 6. You also give a little left to number 2, Zimba Warrior, another runner from the Steve Knapp barn. What was it about Zimba Warrior like, Bryan?
Oh, he has good numbers to go back to, and I just like his pattern that it's coming around to. He should run a big race. I actually don't like Big Buzz at all, to be honest with you, but so that's how sometimes you really get paid. You
know a lot of the owners and trainers on this circuit, Bryan, and I'm going to ask you a question that I don't know the answer to, but a lot of successful trainers like Doug O'Neill and Steve Knapp, back in the old day, I know people like Bobby Frankel and jockey agent Ron Anderson use the sheets religiously. Do you know if trainers like Knapp or O'Neill are using the sheets religiously?
I don't think they use them religiously, but I do think they reference them. Okay, like I just solely use them. I wouldn't look at anything else. Okay, you can, and you know what? Sometimes they're wrong, and that's okay.
Sure.
Because overall, they're way more right than they're wrong. So you sort of take the losses when you have them, and then you make the scores when they're right. And a lot of times they're right.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at race number 7. We're back sprinting on the turf course. 6 furlong is the distance. It's a starter allowance race with a field of 7. Morning line favorite, number 2, Father Delay off the long layoff. Once again, for trainer Bob Hess, is the 5-2 morning line favorite. A lot of different ways you can go in race 7, Bryan. Which way you going?
Oh, I love a horse in here. I like the 3 horse. I'm a lucky man.
We're both a lucky man.
Yes, we are.
What is it about I'm a lucky man you like most, Bryan?
Well, Mark Black claimed this horse, and his last race, he ran a really good rag number, and I think he's going to either duplicate it or possibly go forward. And if he does, they're all running for second money.
Interesting. You also give a little love to number 4, Neon Lights, again from the Steve Knapp barn. Happy to get off the rail. Has broken from the rail his last 2 times sprinting on the turf course. Now draws a bit more of an outside post, but he's been right there the last 2 races.
Yes. Yeah. I think this is a great race to box the exacta, but I'm going to make a win bet on the 3.
Question for you, Bryan. You say you just rely exclusively on the sheets. It takes you about a half hour to handicap the card. You don't read the racing form or workout reports. Do you pay any attention to the jockeys? Do jockeys matter at all?
No.
Could care less.
Could care less.
Juan Hernandez, Flavio
Doesn't
Prat,
matter.
doesn't matter. Jose Valdivia.
I say it's 90% the horse. Maybe on grass, the jockeys make a more definitive impact because it's more strategic, I believe, on the grass. But no, I don't. That's the last thing I do is look at a jockey.
Race number 8 seems to be a grab bag of maiden claimers going 1 mile on the main track for $20,000. The morning line favorite is on the outside, number 10, Big Drinker, who's 3-1. Lots of things going on here, Bryan. A lot of class droppers, a lot of equipment changes. Which way you going and why?
I actually love the 5 Saldanta with Mark Glatt. Diego Herrera could have a good day today, even though I don't follow jockeys. He's a nice young man and
rapidly improving.
Yes, and he's getting better all the time. And his agent's doing a good job for him, Ryan Casado.
Yes, sir.
And so he's fine.
What's the sheet like? Why is the sheet for this horse so much better than the others?
His comeback race was very strong. And he also can go long, which a lot of these maiden 20s, boy, they're a little suspect. So he just needs to run that same number or just improve a little, and he's going to have a good day. And then my other horse underneath is Chrome to Riches.
Yep, from the Carla Gaines barn.
Yeah, he's consistent. He's right in the area code, so to speak, of the 5, but interestingly enough, when I do my program, I don't like a lot of people see my program because they get upset when they see I have line stream and they usually say, wow, all those horses are scratched. I said, no, they just can't win. You don't like my horse? No, I said, I told you, don't look at my program. You might not like what you see.
Nothing personal. It's all business.
It's all
for
business.
Sure. We close out the day in race number 9, sprinting 5.5 furlongs in the turf courts. It's a starter allowance race for fillies and mares. And we've got a good field of 7. Phenom is the 9-5 morning line favorite. Phenom actually won her most recent effort, and that was back on March 10th. 4 of the 7 runners in today's field actually exit this race. So let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action. There's a lot going on here. Pay attention to Paleo's Princess late run. Also pay attention to unwritten code, setting the pace early. Phenom emerges the winner, but all these runners are coming back in today's 9th race. So let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action.
And they're off. Unwritten Code is very quick out of there. Teen Drama comes away in second. They're followed by Avantap and Phenom right together. Another 2 lengths back to Paleo's Princess and Awesome Taylor trails. Less than a half mile to go. And it's Unwritten Code, the leader, opening it up to a length and a half. Teen Drama second. Avantap races in third. Heavy favorite Phenom is fourth, almost 4 lengths off the lead. Another 2 back to Paleo's Princess, who's 5 in front of Awesome Taylor. Heading to the quarter pole, Teen Drama re-engages Unwritten Code. Just behind them, Avantap drafting in. And on the outside comes Phenom and Paleo's Princess. There's an 8th to run, Unwritten Code. Challenged by Teen Drama. Phenom picking it up now in the final stages, as is Paleo's Princess swinging out. Unwritten Code digs in, but Phenom is coloring her late. And Phenom will get there. It wasn't.
Tight photo, Bryan, with Phenom getting to the wire first, but Paleo's Princess hanging on the wrong lead, almost beat Phenom. But you again are going in a different direction. We touched upon it. You're going with the 8-year-old first off the claim for Lee from up at Golden Gate. There's some pass back numbers that you think he can run back to.
Yes.
Or she can run back to.
Yes, she. I'll be honest with you. I did talk to Lee, but I had already given her a triple star before I had talked to him because she fits that pattern. I told you that they're off for a while, then they're coming back. She ran a very credible number, but I believe she's significantly better on the grass. And she has 7 races to go back to that would win this race. So I believe that she's going to run one of her best races today, which should get it done.
You know, Lee makes it look so easy because one of his other patterns in claiming horses is horses who like to win. And even though she's lightly raced, Revelation fits that pattern. 18 lifetime starts, 8 victories, 7 of them coming on synthetic, 1 of them coming on the turf. This claim actually makes a lot of sense, and he could basically be out in this very first effort in Southern California.
No question. I believe me, this horse is very live. And then because it's to me, I watched Paleo's Princess's last race, and she should have won that race, in my opinion. Okay, so it's not that I was trying to handicap. I just remember that day, and I thought she was best. But her number and pattern say she should be right there.
Bryan, last time I had you on the seminar, you basically swept the card. It's archived and people can go back and watch it. You've got some heavy lifting to do today in order to beat that, but nevertheless, it's an indication of how well of a handicapper you are. Thank you so much for the educational lesson on the ragas and sheets. Pleasure having you back in here and in the studio, and we'll do it again sometime soon.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Bryan.
It's
very, very
been
much.
a pleasure. One of the best things that ever happened was like meeting you and getting to know Horseplayer and Frank Scatano and everybody on your team.
And talking to you and talking you into making into participating in the
without you,
tournaments
I
as
would have
well.
never played a tournament.
Some great friendships made at the racetrack. Bryan and I are one example of that. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you liked it. You'll hear Frank Miramati updating us with any late changes. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.